Hi,
you?
Tanya. Hi, good morning. I'm involved in selling an assisted nursing home in Simi Valley here, and recently, um, uh, I'm not making potential buyers sign an NDA, and I just wanted to know what your thoughts on whether to enforce having potential buyers sign an NDA or not. What's the advantages? What are the disadvantages of signing an NDA? Is there a real purpose other
Uh,
than from sellers wanting to keep
yeah,
the
so in general, business sales are typically confidential for a variety of reasons. Um, and I don't know enough about that facility that you're talking about right now to know whether it would be something that should be required. I would require it in all cases. Because there are two reasons. A confidentiality agreement typically also has a non-circumvent in it. So it's protecting you as the broker from the buyer going around you and going direct to the seller and buying directly from the seller. Um, but more importantly, in most businesses and particularly if you have a key employee, a business can lose value overnight. Businesses are dynamic. If a key employee leaves, your business value, it just went out the door. You could drop $500,000 depending on the type of business, the size of business. It might take 6 months to a year to replace a key employee. And in that time period, you may lose customers, you may lose a lot of know-how, and just experience that key employee had that wasn't documented, that was all in that person's head. Nobody else knows how to do certain things. So the other reason for having non-disclosures and confidentiality agreements is because let's say you're dealing with some type of a company that buys a lot of inventory and they have terms and so maybe they're on net 30 before they have to pay those invoices. And if if a supplier finds out that the business is for sale, they can change and put them on a COD. Well, now you've just completely destroyed their cash flow because now they have to pay for inventory 30 days sooner, right? They're not able to float that. They're not able to sell a portion of that. So there's a lot of negative things that can happen when confidentiality is breached. And so that's why we always require confidentiality agreements. It's partly to make sure that the employees don't find out the business is for sale. We don't want any key employees or important employees leaving. We also don't want key employees holding the seller hostage. And I've seen that done before. I had a seller that decided he had long-term employees and he wanted to tell them that he was selling the business in advance before we even listed it. And so basically 3 of his employees just decided, well, he was going to get a nice paycheck. So they wanted a piece of it. And they basically threatened to walk unless he agreed to give them, a pretty sizable chunk of change when the transaction completed, like 6 figures, so bad things can happen is the bottom line to it, which is why confidentiality is important in business sales. Okay. How large the facility that you're talking about, how large is it, or how many beds, how many rooms?
Yeah, it's a 6-bed facility. It's a congregate living home with A+B+C license, which is highly desirable.
Yeah.
Yeah, the facility is closed, so none of the issues that you talked about, I think, matter in this transaction, except for buyers circumventing and going directly to sellers.
Okay. The facility is currently closed?
Yeah.
Okay. So then it's really just real estate. It's not a going business concern at this point.
Yes, but the license is also for sale. And the license is valuable because they're hard to issue. Yeah. So the new owner can take over the license and restart the business.
Okay. Yeah, so if there's currently no employees, then that's not really an issue, so. And the vendors, I mean, they're not buying much. If they don't have anybody there, if then none of the beds are rented, then. They don't have a lot going on. So yeah, I mean, I think in that respect, it's more of just a real estate play. So you wouldn't necessarily need the confidentiality.
Yeah, thank you for your answer. It
Sure.
was helpful though for future reference.
Okay. All right. Very good. Very good.